Hi everyone! In this video I am excited to bring you the brand new brand called UOMA. Now it is spelled U-O-M-A, but they say on their About Us page that it is pronounced UOMA. So why am I excited about this brand in particular? Well, I guess I'm excited about any brand new brand that is out on the market to be able to review, but this brand seems to be particularly special. The brand was founded by the Nigerian-born LA and London-based former beauty executive Sharon Chuter. The UOMA beauty range is supposed to be rebellious, innovative, and created for all. Now, of course, in the past year or two, the beauty community has very much become more conscious of making sure that the beauty industry and the products that are available allow and cater to people of all ranges and skin tones, which is a good thing. Brands are still kind of working on making sure that they are truly inclusive, but this brand, the heart of this brand really seems to center around making sure that people from the fairest to the deepest really have a range of options available to them. Part of the statement of the brand says, "We exist to rewrite the rules of inclusivity and diversity to create a world of beauty that truly is for all of us." The values and beliefs they list are self-expression, colorful living, African pride, empowering tribe, inclusivity, and beautiful rebellion. It also says that Sharon Chuter was one of the 50 most forward-thinking executives shaping the future of the beauty industry. A visionary and seasoned beauty industry executive, Sharon has had a career that has spanned multiple continents and has worked with major multicultural beauty and consumer brands, including Revlon, L'Oreal, PepsiCo, GSK, and most recently, Benefit Cosmetics. She draws inspiration from her Afro heritage and infuses it with the fierce modernity to create a truly fresh aesthetic. So with all that in mind, in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take pretty much everything that is in the range. The only thing I didn't end up buying, I think, was the eyeliner, but everything else I purchased and am going to apply in real time and discuss what I think about the product with you as I apply and after application. This is the finished look that we have after using the products. So if you are interested in what I think of the ingredients, the quality, how these products function, work, and look, then of course keep watching. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel before we keep going. Follow Allure Beauty on Instagram and make sure you check out the latest video. All right, let's get to applying these UOMA beauty products. Okay, let's start applying these products. If my nose looks a little bit red or has these random splotches, it is because I recently did a video testing out this Inner Beauty suction device to remove blackheads and kind of excavate pores and blemishes and things like that. If you're interested in seeing what I thought about that and the results, then I will link that in the upper right hand corner for you. The first step will be foundation. Now, what's interesting about this brand is that they say they have divided the foundations into skin families. And specifically, it says that they have radicalized foundation as we know it by creating the most personal foundation ever made. And they're not talking about foundation shades. They have divided all of the shades into skin families, what they call skin kins. They say they use the Fitzpatrick scale, which measures skin's reaction to the sun. And based on that, they have divided the foundations into 6 different groups. So I guess they've divided them into the skin's needs and similar characteristics, although you will see from the divisions that they also follow, in general or generally a light to darker grouping. So for example, the darkest range of shades are in the Black Pearl family for dark brown skin. And for that, it says the most common skin concern is dullness and most common skin type is oily combination skin. And they therefore say they have a formulation or ingredients that target those concerns in that family. For the shade that I chose, it is in the Fair Lady family, which is described for fair skin. It says for this that the most common concern with this skin type is premature aging and most common skin type is dry combination skin, which I definitely don't have. And I will say that I found it difficult to navigate the shade selection, to determine what shade I would best fit or what undertones there were. In fact, I ended up going over to the Ulta website to try to get an actual description of the shade names because those don't pop up when you click the different shade circles on the UOMA website. And I also tried to use the Find Your Shade option on their website, and it doesn't give you any suggestions. The first time I tried to use it, nothing even happened. I wasn't able to even select the type of foundation that I've used before in color. And then the next day when I tried to use it, I was able to go through all the selections, but then nothing popped up as a suggestion. So they need to work on those features of their website still. But in any case, I made the best guess that I could based on the descriptions on Ulta's website for the shades. And I ultimately picked up T2N. This is what the packaging looks like. It comes in a pretty heavy frosted glass bottle, so very nice packaging, and the different skin families come with, I think, different colored caps on them. So as you can see, it's going to be a pump bottle, and it says that this is a weightless formula that has adjustable coverage, is long-lasting, has a vibrant matte finish with blurring effects, and is supposed to be hydrating, vegan, and cruelty-free. Now, the N in the shade will stand for neutral, C will stand for cool, and W will stand for warm. Let's see what this looks like when we get it out of the bottle. Oh, I think that that will be fine in terms of a shade match. I'm a little surprised and relieved. Hopefully once we blend it in, that will remain my comment on this. So on this side of my face, I'm going to use the flat kabuki brush, which is usually how I apply foundation. It does have a slight scent that I can detect. I'm going to talk about the ingredients in just a second. And on this side, I'm going to use a dampened sponge. Okay, I like the finish of this foundation with either method. With the flat kabuki brush, I definitely get more coverage, and I get a little bit more of a matte finish. With the sponge side, I get a little more less coverage, and I get a bit more of a dewy finish. But the foundation sits very smoothly, regardless of which method you use. It seems to blend in nicely and have, I would say, medium coverage, a little less than medium coverage on the sponge side. I'm going to go ahead and go over my nose with the kabuki brush to get more coverage because I do have a lot of redness there right now. So I don't have any negative things to say in terms of the look of the finish of the foundation or even the coverage. What I will say is that I almost passed on reviewing this brand at all because I noticed that in the foundation, when you look at the ingredients, there are at least two very major problematic ingredients. So the first one is alcohol. The foundation has straight alcohol in it, and it's a good amount of it. It's before you get even to the middle of the list of ingredients. Alcohol is sensitizing, it's drying on the skin, it's damaging to the skin. It's just not something you want to be putting on your skin, especially in a product that you put all over your face. On top of that, you also see in the ingredients that you have perfume or fragrance. Now that is definitely more towards the end of the ingredients list. It's past the halfway point. It's not one of the last 1 or 2 or 3 ingredients, but it is present, and that in combination with the alcohol is just, I will not actually be, other than for the testing purposes in this video, I would not repurchase this foundation, and frankly, I wouldn't really use it because I care more about the health of my skin, and I have plenty of foundations that don't have those problematic ingredients that also look beautiful on the skin. So I did this for the purpose of sharing this for you because I want you to, be able to see, I guess, if you're curious, what it looks like, but I also want you to know that there's nothing so magical about this foundation that it is worth sacrificing the health of your skin. And you can get plenty of other foundations that are much cheaper, look just as beautiful, and don't have alcohol or fragrance in the ingredients. So I'm really disappointed because I do want to support brands such as this one that really do support having a diverse, inclusive range of shades that will be accessible to all kinds of people and people of all different skin colors and skin types. But the ingredients can be improved on this formula. Oh, and I think I forgot to tell you, this is called the Say What Foundation, and it retails for $39. Moving on to the Stay Woke Concealer, which retails for $25. Now, even before I get into this, I will tell you I have the same issues that I do with the foundation. If you look at the ingredients, in the middle, not directly in the middle, just a little bit after the middle of the list of ingredients is listed alcohol. It doesn't look like there's additional fragrance in this, so that's good. But again, that really concerns me, especially for something that a lot of people are going to put right along the eyes. You don't want to be putting alcohol there. You don't want to be putting alcohol on any part of your face, but even more so in the immediate eye area. So again, I will apply this and I will test it out for the sake of showing you, but I also really hope that you take into consideration the fact that you can get concealers out there for a lot cheaper that don't have alcohol in them. I picked up the shade White Pearl in T2. So White Pearl is supposed to be a family even fairer than Fair Lady. And again, I struggled with figuring out what would be the appropriate shade. Although when I take this out and look at the tube, which is very cute, love the packaging, it looks like it will be probably a good match too. And this says, meet your all-day solution to a flawless complexion. This is supposed to be full coverage, lightweight, and have a satin radiance finish that goes on seamlessly to conceal instantly your imperfections. So you get a very large doe foot applicator. Again, I surprisingly think I did pretty well on the shade match here. I'm gonna use that damp sponge again. Does seem like pretty full coverage. Okay, so yeah, you get very nice coverage underneath the eyes. Slightest settling into the fine lines, but that happens with pretty much any concealer. I'm gonna try to conceal some of these red marks that I have. Okay, so again, kind of similar comments from me. I don't have a lot to criticize in terms of the superficial look of the concealer. It's more a criticism of what's inside the product that you're putting on your face, which is the ingredients. All right, before we do the rest of the face, I want to do the eyes, and there are 3 different eyeshadow palettes that are available. I picked up this one. So these are the Black Magic eyeshadow palettes, and they retail for $44. So the box slides out like this. It is a magnetically closing palette, and you do get a mirror inside. This palette is the Allure palette, but they do also have the Poise palette, which has mostly browns and then a pop of blue. And they also have the Savage palette, which has blues, reds, grays, a lot more red-based and blue-based shades. So these are supposed to have highly pigmented formulas, be long-lasting and water-resistant. And of course, as you can see, the Allure palette has more green shades and pop of yellow. So here is the palette up close. You can see that the name of each shade is there on the bottom of each pan. So let's lay down a base and blending shade. This is a matte shade, Romantic, which looks like it's a very soft rose with a slight peachy tone. I'm gonna also drag that through the lower lash line. Let's put this green matte shade Lush through the crease. Going with the same brush back to Romantic and add more color back. A lot of it has been blended away, but also try to blend that in with the green. And let's go in with the darker, more burgundy shade Love. Define the outer crease or outer V. Let's see how this mustardy kind of browny yellow applies all over the lid. The name is Ocean. It's a good color. If you apply it over a white base, definitely pop even more. So you could probably go with that for an all matte look, but of course we want to use some of the shimmering shades. Let's put this shade, which is Lady of Gold, in the inner corners. And let's go ahead with Enchantress, which is more of a sparkling lime greeny yellow. Go over the matte yellow with that. That pairs pretty well. Doesn't look like this shade itself has a lot of underlying color. It looks like it's mostly shimmer. It does have some color. Oh, and it builds up really well. Okay, so there are the eyes finished before I do the brows. We definitely have a fair amount of fallout underneath mostly this cheek for whatever reason. Nothing astounding. It's kind of expected with the shimmery shades, but I will have to kind of swipe that off, which isn't very easy to do without just removing my foundation and having to do that over again, which I'm not going to do. So just keep that in mind. You might want to do the eyes first if you are going to use one of their palettes. Overall, I think the quality of the shadows is good. The mattes blended nicely. The shimmers are very nice in terms of buildability and high sheen to them. So, you know, they are a little bit, not very much, a little bit on the more expensive side for, you know, a new brand, I guess, although it's in line with the pricing of everything else in the brand. So if you want to support this brand, I think that these are good quality palettes. You should definitely check them out. Let's finish the face by using this double take Sculpt and Strobe stick. Now this retails for $40. Again, I purchased mine from the Fair Lady range. And for this product, they just have one available for each color family or foundation family. As you can see, it is double-sided. One has your shimmering highlight, which visually looks pretty gold, which I usually don't use on my skin, so we'll see. And then the other side has a matte cream bronzer or sculptor. Let's do the sculpting first. Wow, that is super pigmented. Can't say I was quite expecting that. Didn't use a super heavy hand, but we are going to share the love on each side here because I don't need that much of a dramatic sculpt. But that is nice to know because you know what happens with duo-ended products like this? The sculpting side always runs out before the highlighting side, at least in my experience, because you're sculpting a lot more parts of your face, whereas the highlight usually is restricted to just this area, maybe a little bit on the nose and Cupid's bow, but you have a lot more surface area to cover with the sculpting side. But this sculptor is so pigmented that you may not really need to use that much product. I'm gonna apply a little bit on my brush for the nose sculpt because this is pretty bulky. I want to apply it directly to smaller areas of the face. Blends in nicely, although as with most cream sculpting formulas, you do have to use more pressure than you would with a powder or even a liquid. Now, you might be able to see with this foundation, I'm getting more shine here because my natural oiliness is coming through. So for someone with oily combo skin, don't expect the foundation to be a long-term mattifying formula. And then let's go in with the highlighting side. Yeah, you see it's pretty gold toned. I don't personally think that suits my skin that much, but as I blend it out, there's not much color left behind. The highlighter is surprisingly subtle in comparison to the pigmented nature of the sculpting side that we saw. So I'm okay with the highlighter because once it's blended in, that gold or yellow tone doesn't really stay. Okay, I am not super into the highlighting side. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's much more on the subtle side. I am comparatively much more impressed with the Sculptor, although for $44, I just feel like that's a bit expensive for this. Sorry, $40, not $44. So I've applied translucent powder and done my brows. Surprisingly, there are no blush products in the brand line yet. I'd be very interested in having them come out with some blush shades to suit deeper skin tones. I think that would be lovely to see, but we don't have the option for now, so I will just apply some random blush. What the brand does have a healthy selection of is lip products. There's in fact 3 different types of lip products. So I purchased one shade in each range for us to take a look at. So let's start with the most dramatic, which is the Black Magic Hypnotic Impact Metallic Lipstick. These retail for $26. There are 6 different shades. Beautiful, stunning packaging. Even the box is beautiful. So this is a metallic red. Look at that. So beautiful. You know what this looks exactly like? Is the Ciate glittering lipstick from the Jessica Rabbit line. It looks, I didn't do this intentionally, but it looks, the surface of the bullet, I would be not surprised at all if they came from the same factory, same manufacturer. It looks identical. And this shade is called On Fire. Here it is up close. I really think this might be the same lipstick from the Ciate line. Now, of course, they have, like I mentioned, 5 other different shades. This is the type of formula where one layer is going to be more translucent level of shimmer with some color, but you can build it up to be fairly opaque with that underlying red color. The next range is the Badass Icon Matte Lipsticks. These retail for $24 each. These come in matte white packaging. Love that too. The shade I picked up is called Coretta. Oh, we have a metallic kind of fuchsia in the inside, and it says Badass on there too. So that is what Coretta looks like. A really pretty shade in the tube. This has an almost thicker feeling creamy formula. Good color and definitely opaque. And third, we have the Boss Gloss Liquid Marbles. These retail for $22. Again, love the packaging, metallic blue packaging here. The shade that we got is No Stoppin'. Doe Foot applicator. Shade looks like this. It says these have a finish of a gloss, the long wear of a stain, and the care of a lip spa. These also have an interesting formula. It's not thin and watery the way a stain would be. It has body to it. It actually takes a bit of pressure and spreading around. All right, there are all of the products used. Here is the finished look. I do like this lip stain gloss formula. It takes more work to kind of spread around and finish the lips the way that I want, but the color is super bold and impactful. It feels very comfortable on the lips. Not transfer proof, so just keep that in mind. And what I'll have to say at the end of the day is my favorite part of this brand is the mission statement, the outlook and the goals of the brand, what it believes in, which is important to a lot of people, as it very well should be. So I do appreciate that they are absolutely taking into consideration people from all different spectrums of skin types, skin colors, skin depths, skin tones, etc. In fact, one of the details that I noticed and that I really love is when you look on their website for the foundations and concealers, and I think even the duo-ended sculpting highlighting shades, they rank everything from the deepest shade that they offer to the lightest shade that they offer. I know it's a small detail, but I think it's a nice approach to kind of change the way that we kind of in our minds default everything that we categorize or prioritize as starting with, at first, something the lightest shade to the deepest shade, where we kind of concentrate more and give more attention and options to people who have lighter skin tones, and then kind of as an afterthought at the end, things that are for people who have deeper skin tones. So I think that reversal is actually kind of a nice touch that I really do appreciate. Obviously, in terms of the formulation, if I take away the statement of the brand and the ideas behind the actual products, I do have criticisms of that. I don't like the ingredients that have been put into the foundation in particular. I hope that they reformulate it to remove the fragrance and the alcohol. I don't think it's needed for the coverage of the foundation, for the finish of it, for how it wears. I just don't think it's necessary. Likewise, to take the alcohol out of the concealer. And then I would be 100% behind those because they do look very nice on the skin. They have a nice finish, they have nice coverage, they blend nicely. But for the price point and for the bad ingredients in them, I don't think it's necessary, even if I do support the mission and the people behind this brand. As for everything else that remains that I showed you, again, I don't have any major criticisms of them in terms of the quality of the products. And I think that if you are interested and you want to support a brand like this, this is absolutely one that you should check out and purchase from. So I hope that we see more releases from this brand. As I mentioned, in particular, I hope they release some blushes because I would be interested in testing those out and especially seeing some colors that cater towards people of tones and depths that we don't usually see blushes catered to. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of anything that we tested in this video, whether you have purchased anything and tried it out and what you think of it, or any other thoughts that you have on this new makeup brand. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have 2 seconds, if you can give the video a thumbs up. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video.